What's happening, everybody? This is Truckin' with Tuffy, episode 2. So, I put up a World of Warships video yesterday, but I did not put up a trekking video. Still going to keep putting these up until we either figure out that they're just not worth it or people start liking them. And you will. You will like them. Yes, you will. So, we're going to do a little bit longer one today. Might take a little over half an hour. Just had some stuff going on this past week. You know, family was down here visiting, so I spent a lot of time with them, so I didn't get a chance to put up any videos. So today we're taking our beloved Kenworth W900 and we are going to haul some cars to the port of San Francisco, and we're going to do that from Arizona. Hopefully it'll be all freeway, so that should make it just a little bit better here. You know, say what you want, but the models of the trucks and the trailers is just, it's beautiful. It's well done. Look at the chrome. I mean, your truck doesn't get dirty. You don't have to run it through the truck wash, which, you know, I guess I'm kind of thankful for that. So let's jump inside the truck here, put it in drive. See her. Hey, what are you doing over there? You need to get to work. Yeah, you. Here we go for this, and we are off. So we're going to take this fragile load of vehicles from the Tesla dealership here, because apparently there's Tesla dealerships everywhere, according to SCS Software, the company that makes the American Truck and European Truck Simulator game. So what kind of game news is going on? Well, it's kind of old news, but at the same time it's still good news. SCS Software visited PACCAR, the Pacific Car Show, this past couple of weeks, and they managed to get some good photos and good shots of the trucks that they're going to use for reference, so that they can get the inside and the outside of the future trucks done properly. Maybe they got some good ideas for paint jobs as well. But they recorded truck sounds, which is really important. Well, why is that really important, Tuffy? Well, let me tell you why that's really important. Because it adds to the realism. You know, they did such a good job with this game. You know, with the 30% map increase, it'll be... I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But the engine sounds, they add a level of realism to the game. If your truck feels like a truck and sounds like a truck, then it must be a truck. So hopefully, you know, hopefully we start seeing some other truck models. Hopefully we start seeing some other Peterbilts. Well, the one I want to see is, I'm not sure exactly what the specific, you know, model number of the truck is. I want to see the International. I think that is just a, wow, that is just a good looking truck. You know, we had kind of a trend with the boxy trucks like the W900. You know, and then we go through the more aerodynamic looking ones. But man, they took the International model and they took it back to this like old 1940s 1940s style of trucking. And it's such a good looking truck. I really want to buy that. That's going to be my truck to buy when it comes out here. So hopefully they went down there, and I have no doubt that they got some good footage and they got some good sound recordings. And, you know, hopefully we can start seeing... Man, moved over to the right and gotta move right back. I do that all the time, though. Hopefully we can start seeing a wide variety of trucks in the game. You know, I even want to see some of the old, you know, Kenworth overcabs. You know, I think that would be just really cool to see. It's just some of those old overcabs. And there we go. There's that. So we're going to cruise along at about 60 miles an hour today. The truck kind of tops off at 65. For a while there, we didn't have any type of like limitations or restrictions. You know, as long as you held the gas pedal down, the truck would go. And for some reason they... Oh, that's right, we got to go through this spot. For some reason they took that out of there. So the truck only tops out at 65 miles an hour for some reason again. Which, you know, whatever. But it kind of makes it realistic. You know, trucks I think trucks can go 70, 75 miles an hour, but I have a feeling that it's probably not very good for the truck, and it's probably not very good on gas. Um, but the company that I work for a trucking company. I'm a driver manager. And what it is the trucks actually cannot go um, over 62 miles an hour in our company. That's our company's operating procedures, that the trucks are not allowed to go over 62 miles an hour. So truckers will oftentimes just cruise along at 55 to 60 just to be safe. And that's where the hindrance to the traffic kind of comes in a little bit. People get annoyed with trucks because their trucks are going so slow. Well, a lot of times they're mandated by their company to only go 60 miles an hour or 65 miles an hour. They're not allowed to um, to go any faster than that. And the truck is a tattletale. I'm sure there were days past and trucking days of yore when truckers could kind of do whatever they wanted and still get away with it. Not anymore. This age of digital innovation is turned these trucks into tattletales. They are 8-year-old girls who tattle on everything. They have sensors in the truck that if the truck goes over 62 miles an hour, it sends an alert to us as truck managers, as driver managers. And, we have to call that trucker up and be like, hey, got an alert. Saw that you went over 62. Let's try to keep it down from now on, okay? And so we got to call them. And if they take a corner too hard and the truck swings from one way or the other, the truck tattles on them. It sends me an alert that says, hey, they took a corner too fast. And same thing, if the truck brakes too hard, if they have to, slam on their brakes for some reason, the truck tattles on them. Believe it or not, the truck actually tattles on them. It sends me an alert that says they were braking too hard. It's absolutely incredible. It kind of cracks me up a little bit. In fact, I told my daughter that if I ever became a truck driver, I would name my truck after her, because she's the biggest tattletale I've ever met. So, better slow down. Got some sharp turns coming up and around here. You know what? We're going to do the safe thing. We'll put our hazards on simply for realism purposes, because the speed limit is 55 miles an hour and we are doing 25. So the truckers put the hazards on to let you know that they're going much slower than the speed limit. So we're gonna be realistic today. We're gonna put the hazards on. But anyway, so no, I mean, working for a trucker company and actually being able to talk to and interact with the drivers, and you're talking to some guy, and all right, I think we're good. And he's 2 time zones ahead of you, and he's at a drop, and the shipper won't unload them. It's kind of a unique experience. It kind of opens up a world that you don't ever really think about, and you don't. It's not something you think about. You see the trucks and you're like, oh my God, you big stupid truck, get out of my way. But you don't ever think about the person behind the wheel. You don't ever think about, the fact that guy has been away from his family for 3 months. A lot of these drivers, they get onto, they get onto the road and they stay out there because that's how they're making money. These guys, they get vacation and they get blah, 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 blah. But if they're not driving, they're not making money. It's as simple as that. And so these guys will stay out on the road. They will stay away from their family for months at a time to drive and make money. And, my hat goes off to them. I mean, it's, I was talking to one of my good friends who works there with me, and I was like, you've got to be a special flower to drive. I don't know if I could do it. I really don't. It's a tough job. You're out there, and you've got your appointments at 1:30 in the morning at the shipper, and you show up at 12:45, and they won't unload you, and they won't. It's just like, wow. I mean, the drivers have to deal with that headache, and they have to deal with that level of kind of idiocy, because the shippers don't care. The shippers don't care that he's got to drop this load off in New Jersey and then turn around and drive to Atlanta, Georgia. And he's got to do that in a certain time. They have to make those times, because otherwise the drops, the customer calls us and wants to know why our trucks are always late. So we have to make those drops on time, And so it's a tough job being a driver. And, like I said, my hat my hat goes off to drivers because they do some special stuff. They really do. Take a sip of my coffee here. I just woke up. I got to go back to work tonight, but I wanted to get this video up on the channel before I went to work. Nectar of the gods. Yes. Coffee. Is there anything better? I don't think there is anything better. Well, no. Not even sex. Weird. Anyway. So what else has been going on? Well, the reason... let's talk about... why I haven't put a video up. So the family... I moved for a job. And unfortunately that meant for the time being I had to leave my family at home in the state I came from. So they came down for a visit and they were here for 9 days, and you know, we did all kinds of stuff and we had all kinds of fun. You know, it was just kind of fun seeing them. Oh, really? Really, you're tired? You're tired? I'm tired. Let me tell you how tired I am, Mr. Fictitious Truck Driver. So they came down for 9 days and we did all kinds of fun stuff. The kids just absolutely loved it because they've never been here before. And so, yeah, so I didn't put a video or anything up. I just kind of I had my last day off yesterday, and now I've got to go back to work today for 4 days. So there probably won't be any videos up on the 4 days off. You know, still hoping for a subscriber. So, you know, I think my mom subscribed. I think my mom was my first subscriber. I don't know. I can't be 100% sure. But yeah, still looking for subscribers. So hopefully as I put these videos up, they show up in people's, you know, suggested feeds, especially if you're looking for Squirrel, somebody who's, you know, also plays Euro Truck Simulator and also plays, you know, Train Simulator and City Skylines and stuff like that. I'm working on City Skylines, but I think that I've got to, I've got to, you know, I've got to save some games for me. Yeah, I remember watching. I watch another YouTuber by the name of the Mighty Jingles quite vehemently, quite often. And the reason why I really kind of got into this is Jingles recently hit 500,000 subscribers. And he did a subscriber contest where he said, you know, go in, make a YouTube video and put it up on YouTube. So that's really what I did, is I went and put up a World of Warships replay. It was actually the first ever replay on the channel here, the Arizona battle, titled All Hands to Battle Stations. And so I did, and I've been thinking about, you know, downloading video recording software, and I've been thinking about downloading, you know, editing software. And I've been kicking it around for a while, and it just kind of finally pushed me in that direction. And so, I mean, right now I only have like 5 videos up. That's it. You know, I have the 3 World of Warships, and then once this video goes up, I'll have the 2 American Trucking Simulator. But I was watching Jingles one time, and Jingles primarily does World of Warships and World of Tanks videos. Every once in a while he'll put up a War Thunder replay. In fact, War Thunder was how I... Yes, I know, I'm getting tired. I'm trying to find a place to rest. Let's see. Where is the nearest truck stop? Up in Ehrenberg. Okay, so I'm probably going to get hit with a fine there. Let's hope we can make it to Ehrenberg. And so I was looking at War Thunder, and somebody had brought up War Thunder, and I hadn't bought it yet. And so I Googled War Thunder. You know, on YouTube, I looked for War Thunder. Well, who popped up? Jingles. So I kind of watched a couple of videos, and I thought he was really funny, and I thought he was very entertaining with the way he did his videos, and the fact that he's British and sounds really smart. You know, I don't know what it is about British people with Americans, but we think that if you're British, you're automatically, like, brilliant. So we want to pay attention to you more. So I started watching him, and he was the first ever YouTube channel I subscribed to. And, you know, been loving it ever since. Love watching Jingles. I love Mingles with Jingles. I love watching Why You Have to Be Mad. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly has always cracked me up. Let me see, how much do I... Oh, wrong button. I got 25 minutes for the rest stop. Excellent. So I should get fined here pretty soon. Anyway, well, Jingles had said to on his YouTube channel, you know, he plays a lot of different games besides World of War Tanks. World of Warships, World of Tanks, you know, War Thunder. He plays Star Trek Online. He plays Star Wars: the Old Republic. He plays XCOM. He plays, you know, and people had said, well, Jingles, why don't you put up a video of Star Wars? Jingles, why don't you put up a video of XCOM? And he said very, very simply, he said, those are games that I play for me. Let me say that again. Those are games that I play for me. So those are games that Jingles plays when he's tired of playing World of Warships. Because the one thing that I have noticed about World of Warships is I have to play 20 or 30 games to even get one that is semi-replay worthy. And so far I have 3 World of Warships videos up, and I die in all 3 of them. You know, so for me that is a worthy World of Warships video. But, you know, so you have to play a lot of games of World of Warships, of War Thunder, to get a decent enough game to put a video clip up. And so sometimes you're just going to get tired. So I have to pick and choose. I know that ATS is going to be a video series that I'm going to start. I know that World of Warships, but I've thought about, do I put War Thunder up? Do I put up, you know, a video of this? And I have my PlayStation, so, you know, but I don't play my PlayStation nearly as much as I play my PC. But I've got to make sure that I keep games for me. Come on. There we go. So I think that is probably some of the best advice, inadvertently, that I could have ever gotten from somebody, was make sure that you play low air pressure. Is make sure that you keep games that you play for you. And I've got to figure out, like I said, I have my PlayStation that I don't ever plan on putting up on the channel, but oh, I'm terribly sorry there. Yawn caught up with me. I need more coffee then. That's what I need. So while we're waiting for the air pressure here, let's take a look at our truck. Pretty 300-gallon tank, 800 horsepower engine. Look at how pretty she looks against the desert sunrise there. And that was one of the things we did when the family was here, was we went down to Arches National Park, which is in the desert. And I have never been to the desert, you know, like gone to. I've driven through it, went to Vegas at one point several years ago. But we were driving in my 2000 Ford Focus that I bought when I was in the military. Damn thing had no air conditioning. So we weren't really focused on how purty the desert was. We were more focused on trying not to roast to death, because we just had the windows all down. And it was just cycling hot air through the car. And it was torturous. It was terrible. So yeah, we did that, and the kids have never been to the desert. And it was kind of fun seeing their faces, you know, seeing stuff like that. My son, for some reason, I guess he thought it was going to be like Yellowstone, where you saw animals all over the place, so. But nope, no animals for you today, son. Alright, so we've got our air pressure built back up. Let's get this trailer backed up. Because we are going to pull over onto the other side of the fuel island. And we are going to put some fuel in this here truck. I'm going to put some fuel in this here. Yeah, put some go juice in it. Nope, another truck pulling out there. That's alright. Go around the island. Normally truck stops are not this barren. Like, I talk to drivers, and, you know, I'm like, okay, well, you know, your appointment for this drop isn't until blah, 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 blah. You should go and, you know, find a truck stop. And like an hour later, they'll call me back and they'll be like, I cannot find a truck stop near here, you know. And I'm like, really? Really? Why not? And they're like, because everything is eaten up. Everything is taken. Truck stops are very, very busy places. Alright, let's see if we can swing this puppy in here. put some gas in it, put some, God, this would piss truckers off so bad. I would make somebody so mad. So usually the protocol, when you're fueling up, fill up 66, pure energy, all right. So usually the protocol when a driver pulls up to a gas station is the driver pulls up to the fuel island, gets his gas, and gets the hell out of the way. So usually the driver will get his gas, and then if he needs to run inside for anything, you know what I mean? I'm talking about anything like, you know, a soda, or he wants to run inside, grab a pack of gummy bears. You know, you pull your truck up so that the next truck can get through, and you run inside and you get your little doodad. But you need to consciously make it quick, because there's other trucks that want to use the fuel line, and all of them are on time schedules. So you, as a driver, need to be courteous. And if you're going to do anything, if you're going to go in there and you're going to take a shower, and you're going to do some grocery shopping, or, you know, you're going to go in there and screw around, then you pull away from the fuel line and you go park. I don't care if there's no parking spots. You don't be a jerk, and you don't take up a fuel island while you run inside and screw around, and, you know, because it's a quick way to not make friends in the trucking community. It's a very quick way to make somebody mad, because when you walk back out to your truck, boy, are you going to hear about it. And they are not nice people when they get very mad. I've had drivers call in very, very upset, but luckily I am such a nice guy, and I have developed such a rapport with my drivers that they call me up, and the second, you know, I say, you know, good morning, blah blah blah, after hours, dedicated, this is Jason, they immediately are like, okay, well, I'm not going to mess with this guy. I'm not going to get mad at him. It's not his fault. You know, myself and my coworker have started to develop a very, very good working rapport with our drivers, and I'm very proud of it. I'm not going to lie. We kind of rock at it. So, benefit. But yeah, so truckers can be not very, very nice at all, especially if you're screwing around. And a lot of these old truckers, they will get in your grill. And then you combine that with young punks, and it just ends up bad. You know, you got a fist fight happening in the middle of a, you know, TA truck stop. But, so that's how truckers get fuel. And there's a couple of videos. I mean, you can look up YouTube, you know, truck holds up gas, you know, fuel island. I belong to another YouTuber that I watch. Her name is Allie Knight. She's a truck driver for Jim Palmer. I know, different trucking company than the one I work for. But she put up a video the other day where she was just like, what is this guy doing? He's just sitting there. And he was just sitting in the fuel island, and the other driver had gone in and gotten like food and taken a shower, and, you know, he just held up the fuel island. And unfortunately, right, because fuel island lines can get pretty deep. The trucks that were trapped behind him were literally trapped. They could not go anywhere. And so, yeah, he comes out, and you can hear all the other truck drivers yelling at him, and you can hear Allie going, oh, holding up the fuel island to go in and get some McDonald's, huh? Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, you just hear all these guys like heckling this poor dude. And, you know, really, it was his fault. It really was. He was kind of a douche nozzle about it. So, come on. Driving into Southern California, we are going from desert to palm trees desert. Big difference in desert over here. But we've got to deliver it to San Francisco, so we actually have quite a bit of time to go, believe it or not. So here we are driving along still. 55 lovely miles an hour. So I'm definitely hoping to get some more YouTube subscribers. Like I said, you know, I think that World of Warships is going to be a success. I think that that's something I'm going to continue doing. I'm not sure what other games I want to put in there. You know, the important thing, I think, is to not get into too many games. But you've got to have, like I said earlier, you got to have those games just for you. But I think that if I'm trying to put up World of Warships videos, and Star Trek videos, and Star Wars: The Old Republic videos, and fractured space videos and trucking videos, I think it all just becomes like a complete chore. I think it becomes more work than it does fun, and so I think that that's where you start running into problems where you don't want to. You just stop playing video games. Like, you get completely burnt out on video games. When I moved down here, when I moved for this job, the job actually initially fell through. So I spent 3 weeks looking for other jobs and plastering the area with applications and resumes. And I played a lot of video games during that time, and it actually got to the point where I was completely burned out. I didn't want to play video games anymore. I didn't want to sit down at the computer. I didn't want to play PlayStation. I mean, there were times I would just sit in this room and I would just look at my console and I'd look at my computer, and it was just like, I don't want to do that. I really don't. I started getting just ridiculously burned out on gaming. And so I don't want that to be an experience that I translate over to my YouTube channel where, I'm plastering every game that I play onto a YouTube channel and, having to go through 20, 30 games of fractured space before I get a good one, where I want to post it, and, having to go through 20, 30 games of, World of Warships, and before I get even a halfway decent one. Like I said, the 3 World of Warships videos, I die, I think, in all 3 of them at the end. But I mean, they were really exciting replays, so I ended up putting them up. But I got to have those games that I save kind of just for me, and I'm kind of thinking that's what my PlayStation is going to be. My PlayStation is going to be my me time. After a day of playing, World of Warships, and putting a video up, finally getting a replay that I'm happy with, and putting the video up, and I want to sit down, I want to play some Formula One, or I want to sit down with my buddies and play some Division, because the real difference between, like, my online community, like when I play Naval Action, I've never met any of those guys. We're all friends in game, but I've never met. But when I sit down and I play, the Division, I have a bunch of buddies that I went to college with, on the Division. I have a bunch of the guys that I worked with at GameStop when I was going to school. They play the Division. So, those are all like my real friends. They're the people that I've met in real life. So, also, if you guys hear kind of a wind noise in the background, it is like 90-something degrees outside, and it is ridiculously hot. So I have the air conditioner going, and I have a fan blowing the cool air on me. So I have the oscillating fan on me, so you might hear a little bit of feedback from the fan from time to time. Oh, we're going to get over. This truck is not going very fast. Is that a dump truck or is that a semi? What's he hauling? No, he's just hauling a box. Nah, boring. Oh, he's hauling gravel. That's what it looks like. Ah, crud. I'm going to have to cut him off. Because, again, with these ending freeways that I've never seen yet, we're going to cut this guy off. Watch out, fellow trucker. Yeah, the old ending freeways there. I've talked about this in the last episode where I don't like that because I've never seen a freeway do that. So I got to make a decision. I think that, I've got a couple of purchases that I want to make. Of course, one of the things that I want to get is I want to get a steering wheel. I'm not sure what I want to get. I might take a look at the setup that another YouTuber by the name of Squirrel has. He's a professional YouTuber who profiles both European, American Truck Simulator. I mentioned Squirrel earlier. So I've got to look and see what kind of a setup I want when it comes to a wheel. But I was noticing yesterday, I was watching one of Jingles' gameplays on World of Warships, and I noticed how he's pushing like 30 to 60 frames per second. And yesterday when I was, and it looks so smooth. It looks so good. And I was watching my replay, and I couldn't help but notice that I'm only pushing about 30 frames per second, which isn't bad. But I think that I want to get like a new graphics card, and I want to spend a couple $100s on a decent graphics card now that I more or less have the means, so that I can have that awesome, beautiful, because World of Warships is a very, very pretty game. The detail that's gone into the water and the detail that's gone into the ships, and I want to be able to present a nice, smooth, good-looking video. So I think I need to start upgrading my computer. I mean, yeah, I want to get a wheel for this game, but I feel like getting some new hardware for my PC would probably do me better right off the bat, just because it would improve the quality of my videos and it would improve the quality of my games. Coming over, buddy. Coming over. Yeah, you better watch out. Yeah, because I will run you over. So I think that that's something that I should probably look a little more serious into, is producing or getting some hardware updates for the good old computer here. She's a few years old. She ran like a champ. God, when did I get this thing? It's been a few years. She's probably 4 or 5 years old. So yeah, I think it's time that I update her rather than get some new peripherals, some new toys. I can get that stuff later on. Tunnel. Where's Allie? We need Allie Knight. She has tunnel time. Allie Knight's tunnel time is really funny. So we're going to go into this little tunnel. Yeah. No, it's not a very big tunnel, though. I saw my light on my water pressure down there, or my water temperature, but it's blue. It's blue. Blue is a good color. I think if it turns red, we're going to have a problem. But you don't really experience any mechanical failures like that. Like, I mean, if you do enough damage to your truck, it won't run. It'll keep shutting off in the middle of the highway if you do enough damage to it. But you don't ever experience, problems like, specific mechanical problems, like your turbo goes out, or you start having problems with, the engine, where it starts running rough, or you need to get an oil change. I think they did a good job kind of cutting the mundane details out of this game. Just enough. It's just enough to make it fun. You don't have to watch the different clocks. Look at that. They took out my $7,000, $7,600 in loans. Greedy bastards. I got to check and see how much was left on those loans. This load is going to yield us $2,700 or $27,000. So I want to be able to do smaller loads, because one of the problems is that you get those moments where I kind of start running out of stuff to talk about. I mean, we still have another 20-30 minutes in game before we deliver this load. So doing those longer loads is a little bit more important, I think, but at the same time I want to do shorter loads, because the only way that we're going to do that is, you run out of stuff to talk about. We're getting these long sullen silences while my brain frantically scrambles to come up with something interesting to talk about that's not going to make you, want to click off and go watch a different YouTube channel. Oh, little red Prius. I wonder if they actually say, like, Prius on them. I've never checked. I've never, like, stopped the video and, like, zoomed way in and checked. I don't know if they have, they have brands that, like, represent cars in the United States, but I don't know if they're the actual brands. Way? No way. That's right. That's right. You just sit there, way station. You don't do anything. I love the plane crop dusting up there. It's kind of funny. He just flies. He's like crop dusting the same row of trees over and over again. He just flies in like this giant circle. The other thing that I think I'm going to have to start doing is, I think I'm just going to have to run my sleep clock down. And I say that, because with these external contracts, I have, X number of hours, 19, 9 hours, 8 hours, but that's real world time. So if I start the load, I have 8 hours to deliver the load in real world time. But, so I've tried to always sleep at night in the game, and I've tried to, drive during the day, because at night there's just not much to look at. It's dark. It's, at least here, You know, you guys can see how amazing this game is. A little bit of graffiti on there. That was a nice little touch. A little graffiti on the overpass there. You know, you can see how good looking the game is. You have kind of things to look at. During the night, not so much. You've got just pretty much what's in front of me and my headlights. So I try to drive during the day and sleep at night when I'm doing trucking with Tuffy, and it doesn't always work, because like the other day we delivered a load for, and I actually ended up deleting the video. I wasn't very happy with it. I actually had a lot of trouble. It was the day I got back, so I was a little out of practice. So I was having a little bit of trouble with the game. I was running into stuff. It was just awful. You know, like within the first like 10 minutes of the video, I had done like a significant amount of damage to my truck, and so I ended up deleting the video. And so now we're driving along, recording this one, and I did the driving during the day and sleeping at night thing, and because, you know, it might take me 36 hours or 20 something hours. You know, if I only drive for 8 hours, you know, if I drive from 8 to, you know, let's just say 10 hours a day. You know, if I drive from 8 till 6, that's one set of loans that comes out. So they take out $7,600 in loans. And then I sleep and get up that next morning, you know, get up using my quotation fingers here, get up and start driving again, and I've still got like 6-7 hours to go. Then I pass by that noon time frame and they take out another $7,600. So all in all, I've lost $15,200. Yeah. And I think I only made like 17 grand or 19 grand. It was 17 by the time they got through taking all the penalties for running into stuff out of it. So in the long run, I only made 2 grand out of that entire journey. So, but that's what happens is, you know, when I'm not driving all day and driving all night, you know, just losing that 8 hours, you know, I'm not making any money, you know. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Why are we going slow? This is something that you encounter with the AI. A lot of times they'll be just kind of poking along until you get, yeah, see, there he goes. So it wasn't that there was something in front of me, he was just poking along, and then I got behind him. Yeah, happens all the time. You pull up on even cars. You pull up on them, and they're just kind of poking along at like 45, 50 miles an hour. And so you're forced to either slam on your brakes or move over. And the second you move over, like if you slam on your brakes, they just sit there. And then the second you move over, they stomp on the gas and they take off. And it's just like, really? Alright. It's amazing how much this actually looks like Northern California. They did a pretty good job with some of these. I mean, the cities sometimes leave a little bit to be desired, but they did a really good job making them feel like major U.S. metropolitan areas. Resume. And they did a good job with the geography. I was kind of afraid when this game came out. I was kind of afraid that it was just going to be, you know, recycled environments from Euro Truck Simulator, but they did a pretty good job, you know, capturing that feel of what the United States, because, you know, driving around in Europe and driving around in U.S., because I have done road trips in both. I was stationed in Italy when I was in the military, and I did a German exchange program right out of high school where I got to go live in Germany. See, we're not that far off now. There's Oakland. We're not going to stop in Oakland. Anybody from the Bay Area will tell you don't stop in Oakland. You just kind of drive through Oakland, very cautiously, of course. But so I've gone on road trips in both Europe and the U.S. and, you know, they both have very distinctive geographical feels to them. You know, you don't ever be driving around, you know, in Germany and go, this sure does feel a lot like Colorado. You know, you don't ever think that. You know, so they really captured the feel of driving in the United States, and they captured the feel of driving in Europe. Pull up to this toll. No puddle, oh, no person in there, so we just pay our toll and we carry on. And this is one of the the Oakland entrance to California, to San Francisco Bay Area. We go. I mean, it's kind of an abbreviated version, if you will. Oh, buddy, see that guy right there? And that's another problem with the AI. I knew he was going to do that. They do it. There seems to be certain areas where they just derp, and exits to those tolls seems to be one of the big derp areas. All right. So we're kind of moving because, of course, this truck probably only has like a 550 or 650 horsepower engine in him. And I've got an 800 horsepower engine. So I pick up and I move a little bit faster than he does. So we're going to... The 800 horsepower engine is not stock in the game. It was not included. Hey, the Bay Bridge. It was not included with the game. It was a mod that I added afterwards. Now... I left my heart in San Francisco. Sure to meet some wonderful people there. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. So exit the cruise control, because we're going to have to start slowing down here pretty quick. And yep, it's going to be a right-hand turn off the other side, so... I've noticed that's something else that the game does. It just inexplicably drops the speed limits. You know, at least in the US we have the reduced speed ahead, you know, sign so that drivers can prepare for it. Here they just kind of like drop. California Highway Patrol. Also a mod. The generic Highway Patrol was just kind of this black and white car that just said Highway Patrol on it. And somebody went and added a mod that added individual highway patrols for Nevada, Arizona, and California. Ah, the Bay Area. Smell that sea air. Can you smell it, everybody? It's new technology we're developing for the channel. It's called Smell Vision. Smell tube. That's it. Smell tube. That's what we'll call it. Drive by the fish market, you can smell that for a while. The little speed limit, you know, the you're speeding thing actually read my speed. That was kind of cool. I never noticed that before. That was actually pretty neat, because normally it's just kind of a painted on, you know, add-on graphic. It's not really that detailed to where it's actually reading my speed. Going into Old Town San Francisco, but we're going to turn before we get there. We're going to turn up here. Oh, but not that far. All right. Water tankers. I don't know what that M is. I wonder if that's supposed to be a motel. Alright, so let's get out of the way. You almost have to like claim the intersection, because if I didn't and then go during the red light, because if you cross the line during a red light you get fined. But if I claim the intersection and then go, it's not that big of a deal. But you'll never get a chance to go on some of these roads. You know, they went in and they added like turn arrows, and they almost need to add more to some of the more pain in the rear end entrances. So not bad for a controller, huh? Yeah, I use a controller, Xbox controller. I need to go buy a new one. Alright, so that's that. Let's see how we did. So we went 863 miles. Oh, it took us 58 minutes. This is going to be a long-ass video. Oh, and I've completed 27 contracts. So we got 27,692 for that, which is good. 20 experience, which, you know, whatever. I'm level 31, so I don't really unlock any new gadgets for my truck. So So that's it for this week's episode of Truckin' with Tuffy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you like what you see, give that channel a subscribe, give the video a like, and write a comment of anything you want to see or any suggestions that you might have for the video series or for the channel in general down in the comments. All right, so this is Tuffy saying take care, everybody.